Haven't tried new Parmesan stuffed crust? Sign in or sign up for Domino's Rewards to get one for 50% off.
That's silly weird. I'll show you. Thanks.
Haven't tried new Parmesan stuffed crust?
Good morning. Sorry about the technical difficulties this morning. Good morning. We've been trying to get on since 9. It's 9:13. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Thank you guys. Sorry about this. Yes, it's working. I had to restart my phone like 3 times. So good morning. There's 100 people here already. Good morning. Sorry about the delay this morning, you guys. Good morning, Corey D. Don't you forget it either, buddy. Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the delay here. We were in front of the camera at 2 minutes to 9, but the camera didn't want to work. So we're working it now. Good morning, Dando. Good morning, everybody. Lead a Discord for announcements. You know what? Carnivorous. You know what? You can always check on IG, that one channel that most of us are on. What's it called? T Crew. It's called T Crew. Pop over to T Crew, and they're kind of paying attention to what's going on around here. Okay? Oh, that's a good one there, Jesus Christ. That's funny. You're a funny guy this morning. He. Here we go. I want you guys to watch this real quick.
The highest vibrational frequencies that a human body can generate is when it feels love.
Okay.
There was an interesting study done recently. The hypothesis was that the highest vibrational frequencies that a human body can generate is when it feels love or joy. So they put humans in a Faraday cage to create a perfect isolated electromagnetic field, and then would engage the person in an interview with story. And so they'd tell stories about their grandmother or other things. And sure enough, they found these huge bursts of energy coming out of the being when it would go into stories of love and joy and gratitude and all of the predictable things. But they would also take them into anger and frustration and hopelessness and depression. And there was this annoying finding that kept happening, that 40 times higher frequency than love and joy, a burst would come. And it was very inconsistent seemingly as to the emotional state of the person. As they listened back through over and over again, they realized that at those same points they were getting goosebumps with the person's story. So somebody in there came up with the theory of, I wonder if it's an authentic moment that we're sensing. So they redid the experiment, and sure enough, authenticity is 40 times higher generator than love and joy. Your soul doesn't have emotions. Your soul is authentic. The you that you really want to connect with is not a state of an emotional feeling. It's not a state of being. It is an authentic version of you. It is the authentic experience of seeing the beauty of you. And when you see how beautiful you are, you will go into a deep sense of grief because you've been so disconnected from that. You will go into a deep sense of joy for feeling the reverence inside of you. You will go into a deep state of love for the beauty that you can see in yourself. But you won't find it until you start to value the authentic version of you, the authentic reality of you. There was an interesting study done recently. The hypothesis was...
Interesting, right? We got that from Streety. Streety sent me that. And I've been just cogitating on that ever since he sent that to me. And it's like the one statement in there that like is resonating with me is the soul has no emotion. I kind of get it. I think we fabricate a lot of stuff, and then we don't even know how to describe some of the emotions that we have. And then our culture, every culture has its own definitions of love. Each person actually has their own independent definition, if you think about it. It's a very subjective word. So what if we just remove that from the idea, and we just go out to authenticity? It's when you're really being yourself that you feel the most complete. When you're not being a phony baloney, or just when you're connected. So that's some good stuff right there. One more really good thing. We can't go without mentioning yesterday, just a little bit more. Yesterday was one of the funniest, it should go viral situations I've ever been in. It was absolutely phenomenally hilarious. Okay? That's my personal opinion about yesterday. If you guys remember, Don Fike, absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you guys, there's an update on the bag. We have an update on the bag, okay? And then we can move on to another subject. But give me 5 people that want an update. Give me 5 people that want an update with the bag. Nick Charles, you're gonna have to watch yesterday's show. You're just gonna, it's too hard to explain it. You had to be there. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys an update, but I'll tell you the funniest thing. So Donnie Fike won yesterday's pack of supplemental supplements. Okay, which is great. Don's a great guy. But when he sent me his address, that's the funniest part. Carnivorous, it was hilarious. When he sent me, and I posted it on the T Cruise, so some of you have already heard this, but there's a bunch of you out there that haven't heard this. So Don writes to me. He says, greetings. I matched the drawing with that lucky number 31. I believe this drawing was for a mystery bag of empty bottles and one of Brock's shoes. Yeah, that's what he thinks he's getting, the bag of bottles and a shoe. One of the shoes, just one. Brock, getting it ready to pack. One shoe. And then he writes, but I'd be happy with a recipe for soup and ingredients to get cooking. Thanks for the tea time. I look forward to it every morning. My goodness, I was laughing my tail off. Okay, and I asked Brock, can I please send your shoe? He goes, Pops, this is the only pair I have right now. Update. Brock went out, and he came in later on. He goes, Pops, I didn't want to leave the bag out in the street out there by the house. I didn't want it litter. I go, okay, well, that's good move, thank you. And then he writes, and then he tells me, I go, did you happen to check what's inside the bag? He goes, yeah. It was a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade. Okay? It was a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade bottles, which only makes sense. I told you this. I think now I redid the idea. I reset my idea, and I think it was the kid was driving Dad's car. And he'd been out with some, I'm making the whole story up, but that's where I'm going with it. Okay, he pounded a 6-y before going home. Okay? But he didn't want to pull into the driveway with it in Dad's car. Okay? So Dad's Suburban. So he did a quick drop. There was, oh heck, we're almost home. We got to get rid of the 6-y. No, I'm not going to put it on his front porch. No, I've been there, man. I understand, kid. Okay, I totally understand. Okay, I'm not ratting you out to Pops. Good morning, Dragger. No, give me 5 people that would not rat the youngsters out. Give me 5. Okay, give me 5 people that think we've made the right decision. We're not sticking it on their front porch. We're not lighting anything on fire. We're not sticking anything behind. No, it's the no rat deal. Okay, it turned out to be pretty funny. All right, we're definitely not taking the situation over and putting it on kids' front porch. Okay, we'll clean up after them this time. All right. Anyways, we laughed so hard for the next hour and a half. Great show. Thank you guys for making it so fun, because I'm reading your your comments and stuff. So you guys are just the best. I was telling Brock, I go, we have a smart group. These are some really, yeah, snitches end up in ditches with bottles in Brock's shoe. It's a good one. See, that's what I'm talking about. You guys are funny. Oh, you got some funny people out there. Gosh darn it. So anyways, we don't need to keep talking about that, but that was the roundup. We found out what was in the bag. We checked out the bag. Okay. Oh God, it was so funny. And thanks for making everything so fun. We must have fun on this planet. We must be authentic too. Am I right? There's one more thing we don't want to do. We don't want to poison people when we ask them over for beef Wellington. Okay? Give me 5 people that say I really don't feel like poisoning someone if I make them a beef Wellington. I'm number 1. I only need 4 more people. Okay? Okay, we really don't want to do that. We don't want to poison our guests. Okay? All right? No poison, no poison. Remember yesterday we said that we were going to talk about the Aaron Patterson situation. There's Aaron. Okay? There's Aaron. She's in Victoria, Australia, and she's going to court. Okay? Who wants to hear more of that story? Okay, who wants to hear more? We mentioned yesterday, it's kind of a long article, so I have to read the whole thing. But we're going to get information. Okay? Why do you think I had the Last Supper? You're stupid, JC. I didn't know mushrooms are at the Last Supper. That's a good one. Oh, here we go. I'm going to read the story. Okay? The Australian woman accused of killing her estranged husband's elderly relatives with toxic mushrooms in a home-cooked meal is sharing her story and dropping bombshells during multiple days of testimony at court. Aaron Patterson, 50, is accused of intentionally putting death cap mushrooms, which are among the most poisonous in the world, in a beef Wellington dish that she served at July 2023 lunch at her home in the small town of Leongatha, about 85 miles from Melbourne. Carnivores, she popped a cap on them. Okay? All 4 of her guests, her husband's parents, an aunt, and an uncle, were hospitalized with gastrointestinal symptoms the following day. And 3 of them died the following week from an altered liver function and multiple organ failures due to Amanita mushroom poisoning. Patterson was briefly hospitalized, but did not have the same symptoms as her guests. She testified that she vomited later that day after eating 2/3 of a cake they had brought to her. What's going on in this house? But wait a minute, they brought me a cake and they tried to poison me. Aaron. Patterson, a mother of 2, denies that her poisoning was deliberate, and she has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. She faces life imprisonment if convicted. As Patterson, 2/3 of the cake. I'm not going to even mention what I think about that amount, okay? As Patterson's triple murder trial in Victoria's State Supreme Court unfolds, she has admitted to lying about certain details of her story. I'm on the duh for that one. Such as, she told the people that were being invited to her house for that luncheon that she had cancer. This is one of those cancer lying ladies, or guys, people. There's always a cancer liar out there somewhere looking for sympathy. Yeah, I got cancer, man. She's a cancer liar, okay, and admitted it. She told the guests that she had been diagnosed with cancer. However, she failed to tell them about her previously undisclosed mushroom foraging hobby. Now it's a hobby. And the fact that she owned, wait for it, a food dehydrator, but she quickly disposed of said dehydrator during the investigation. Okay? Even after you were discharged from the hospital, you did not tell a single person that there may have been foraged mushroom used in the meal, prosecutors asked her Friday. Instead, you got up, you drove your children to school, drove home, and then got rid of the dehydrator. Okay? Correct, Patterson replied. Okay. That's what I did. Okay. The trial, which began in April, was initially expected to take around 6 weeks, potentially hearing new evidence before the jury is sequestered for deliberations. And then the boot is on the other foot because none of you can tell how long the deliberations will be, Beale said. Here are some of the biggest takeaways from Patterson's week on the stand. Okay? Oh, here we go. I know, Billy D. It's a great laugh track. Aaron and Simon Patterson got married in 2007. And after splitting, wait for it, and reconciling, you're already a wreck. You're already a wreck. You broke up, you're getting back together, you broke up. The breakup, get back together couples very rarely work. I'm just saying. I mean, it's a lovely romance story, but I don't know, man. I don't know about getting back together. If I've gone as far as breaking up, I'm kind of done on that situation, okay? However, they reconciled, wait for it, multiple times over the years. Okay. They separated permanently in 2015, but they remained amicable and in close contact, sharing custody of their 2 children, even seeing each other at church, and even going on vacations together. I wonder if the in-laws got to go on the vacation with them. Simon was invited to the fateful lunch, but he declined the invitation the night before. She had every intention of smoking Simon too. Simon got an invitation. The husband, the reconciler, Simon was supposed to be there. You guys, that's a big part of the deal. Patterson was also on good terms with her in-laws, Gail and Donald Patterson, both 70, saying in the court, they treated me like their own daughter. Okay. So, Aaron, why'd you go through with it if Simon wasn't there? But prosecutors and Patterson herself acknowledged that her relationship with Simon started deteriorating in 2022. Color me confused. This sounded like the whole thing started deteriorating in 2007, their first breakup. Well, they're like, no, it's all the way till 2022, and now we're deteriorating. Patterson said after noticing that Simon described himself as single on a tax return in 2022, she started asking him to pay child support, which he did. But they continued to fight over related issues, including which schools their children would attend and who should pay the fees. On Thursday, Rogers asked Patterson to read from Signal messages she had sent to the in-laws about the disputed school fees. Patterson denied that she was asking her in-laws to make Simon pay for them. What I wanted from them, whether I communicated it well or not, was I wanted Dawn and Gail to help Simon and myself communicate better. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to communicate better. So let's have lunch, okay? But Dawn and Gail took Simon's side, which prosecutors allege made Patterson angry. On Friday, the prosecution asked Patterson about Facebook messages she sent to friends in 2022, complaining about Simon's parents. They sound like they're targeted to me, you guys. Including Dawn message to say he and Gail don't want to get involved in financial things, but they hope and pray for the kids. Dawn and Gail aren't doing anything wrong. They're 70 years old and they're watching this situation. They're going, count us out. We just hope the best for the kids. Elsewhere, she wrote, this family, I hate this family. I swear to effing God. I thought the parents would want him to do the right thing, but it seems their concern about not wanting to feel uncomfortable and not wanting to get involved was an overriding factor, so F them. Aaron, you're losing it, okay? Under questioning, Patterson denied that the messages reflected her true feelings about Dawn and Gail, and she was simply venting. Venting on Signal. You're already in trouble, okay? Rogers accused her of having two faces, a public face appearing to have a good relationship and a private face where she hated them on Facebook. Number 2, are you guys ready? Is this boring anybody? Give me 5 people, say, Pops, tell us the other 3 things. I'm not making fun of the lady. I don't know all the facts, but I can make it a funny story. Okay, this is, read between the lines with me, okay? All right, I'll keep going. Nerdy. This is like Australia, what do they call it? What do you call it? No, it's soap operas. This is like an Australian soap opera. Prosecutors say Patterson invited Dawn and Gail Patterson, as well as Gail's sister Heather Wilkinson and her husband Ian Wilkinson, over to lunch to discuss some medical issues that she was facing and how to break the news to the kids. I'm facing medical issues and I've got to break the news to the kids. Would you guys come and have lunch with me and let's discuss what's the best way to do that? She had dropped her kids off for lunch and a movie with friends before the guests arrived. Based on accounts from Ian Wilkinson, the sole survivor, Patterson told the group at lunch that she had been diagnosed with cancer after noticing a bump on her elbow. And she asked for advice how to tell the kids. You knew she wasn't, she knew she was pulling this one because she didn't think any of them were going to survive to tell. She didn't know that Ian would wake up and say, but she said she had cancer. In court on Thursday, Patterson acknowledged she had misled Gail about the lump on her elbow weeks before the lunch, and she didn't have any medical news to communicate. When asked directly, Patterson repeatedly denied telling her lunch guests that she had cancer. I can't remember the precise words, but I do know that I was going to communicate that I was undergoing investigation around ovarian cancer and might need treatment in that regard in the future. I can't, ovarian cancer from a lump on the elbow. This thing's getting pretty crazy, okay? And I didn't tell him anything about cancer, that I had cancer. I just told him that I might be getting treatment for ovarian cancer. But I didn't tell him, okay? I was really embarrassed. So I thought perhaps letting them believe I had some serious issue that needed treatment might mean they'd be able to help me with the logistics around the kids. And then I wouldn't have to tell them the real reason. Okay. How did the mushrooms get in the food, Aaron? What happened? Patterson said today that she accepts there must have been death cap mushrooms in the meal she made, an admission that she has long withheld. In the immediate aftermath of the incident, Patterson told doctors and investigators that she had used two kinds of mushrooms for her dish, fresh from the grocery store and dried mushrooms from a Chinese grocer in the area, though she couldn't remember which one. But don't you have a dehydrator? Okay, wait. In interviews with police, she denied owning a dehydrator and she denied foraging for mushrooms. On the opening day of the trial, however, her lawyer, Colin Mandy, confirmed those had been lies. Patterson denies that she ever deliberately sought out death cap mushrooms. Patterson said on the stand that she started foraging for mushrooms at trails and botanical gardens in her area, and in early 2020, she joined Facebook groups to identify and learn about the different kinds. The Victorian government issued a warning in early 2023, right before their lunch date, that death cap mushrooms were growing in the region. Patterson repeatedly said she couldn't remember which naturalist website that marked where the toxic mushrooms had been found. Patterson acknowledged buying a food dehydrator in April 2023, but she denied prosecutors' allegation that she traveled to a nearby town to collect death cap mushrooms that same month. She did admit on the stand that she disposed of the dehydrator after the lunch, but she didn't know that death cap mushrooms had been in it. Aaron, she said that while she was preparing the beef Wellington, which is typically coated in mushroom paste and wrapped in pastry, it seemed a little bland to me. So I decided to put in the dried mushrooms that I bought from the grocer, the Chinese fella, that she can't recall where he lived or what grocery store. But she was going to grab those mushrooms because she still had a few in the pantry. Okay? I didn't deliberately put death cap mushrooms in the meal, Patterson said. However, she acknowledged that there's now a chance that some of her foraged mushrooms were left in the Tupperware. And she's grabbing them. I don't know, man. There might have been a couple of extras in there. Okay? She said the possibility only occurred to her days later as her relative's condition deteriorated and toxicology tests confirmed death cap mushroom poisoning. She said she was talking to Simon in the hospital when the topic of the dehydrator came up. And he asked, "Is that how you poisoned my parents?" She said his comment got her to thinking about how she had dried forage mushrooms in it a week earlier. Aaron, you're killing me here. No, you killed your... No. She said, I was starting to think, what if they'd gone in the container with the Chinese mushrooms? Maybe that happened. Patterson said adding it made her feel really worried that child protection was going to be involved. And Simon seemed of the mind that it was intentional, and I just got really scared. Prosecutors said that even as doctors confirmed the patients were suffering from serious toxin syndrome caused by ingestion of the mushrooms, they did not immediately receive the antidote because there was a lack of evidence to confirm that they had ingested such mushrooms. She may have been able to save their lives if she'd have come forward sooner. If she'd admitted what toxin was in them, she may have been able to save their lives. On Friday, Patterson confirmed she did not tell anybody about the possibility of the contaminated mushrooms. Rogers asked why she didn't alert medical authorities as soon as it occurred to her. I had been told that people were getting treatment for possible death cap mushroom poisoning, so it was already happening. Yeah, so? Well, I mean, they're already dying, so why alert? Why tell anybody that, hey, maybe you could get this antidote? Instead, she confirmed that the next day she drove the kids to school, came home, and got rid of the dehydrator, taking it to what is called a tip or a secondhand store at a waste facility. Heather Wilkinson and Gail Patterson died on August 4th, and Donald Patterson died the following day. Ian Wilkinson stayed in the hospital all the way until September 11th. She says she disposed of the dehydrator in the context of thinking that maybe mushrooms that I'd forged or the meal I was responsible for was making people sick. Aaron, people died. You didn't just make them sick, you killed them. And after she learned of the deaths, it was just a knee-jerk reaction to just dig deeper and keep lying. I was scared and I shouldn't have done it. Patterson also said she did a factory reset of her cell phone during the police investigation. I knew there were photos in there of mushrooms and the dehydrator, and I just panicked, and I didn't want the detectives to see them. Yeah, okay, so that did not stop prosecutors from showing photos taken on her phone in April 2023 depicting wild mushrooms being weighed on a scale. They suggested Patterson had been doing so to calculate a lethal dose. She literally... Let's wait till they're still trying to figure out if she's guilty or not. So we'll wait for it. We'll wait for it, but I certainly, you can tell what Pop's thoughts on this is. Okay? If you make a mistake and you dose somebody in the wrong thing, get on the horn, get in front of it, tell the truth, don't hide, don't get rid of the evidence, don't delete stuff, don't pretend you're not involved. I mean, every single thing that she was doing was just digging herself a deeper hole. When I first heard this story a year ago, I thought, it could very well be an accident. If you think about it, the more you hear about her and the lump on the elbow and every other thing. I'm not in the jury room, but, yeah. Give me 5 people. Act casual, right, Wazzy? You need to go straight and rat yourself out as fast as you possibly can. And especially if it was an accident, right? When it's not an accident, you do these crazy Aaron Patterson things. So, and I'm not making fun of Australia by any means here either, because this could happen in any country in the world. But that's a big wow. Give me 5 people. Next, she's going to say, carnivores. Next, she's going to say, I didn't make that Wellington. I got it from the Chinese grocer. Yeah, the Chinese grocer gave me the beef Wellington. Okay. Yeah, Nick, I know who you're talking about there. Nifford, we're sitting here being judgmental right now, and I don't mean it that way. I'm also trying to bring a little humor into this, even though 3 people dying and 1 getting incredibly sick is not funny. It's not, and I hope no one's thinking I'm insensitive. The story it doesn't stop being stupid. Like, lady, come on. I got rid of the dehydrator. Nobody can make me get rid of my dehydrator, okay? I'm not getting rid of my dehydrator. So, I'd have to really have done something bad to get rid of my dehydrator. That's all I have to say, okay? That was my key. It was like, wait a minute, you gave up the dehydrator? I use a dehydrator almost every day. Okay? Crazy people on the planet. And, exception, thank God she didn't plan better. You know what I mean? We're glad she's half a whack job. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Go, 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 go. Give me a number between 1 and 50. You can put up to 3 of them on your line at one time. Give me a number. You can put up to 3 on your line at one time. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Go, 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 go. I haven't seen the number yet. I want to send somebody a pack of supplemental, non-death cap supplements. We're not doing death caps. Okay? What number do you think's in the chute? I have a number in the chute right here. What number's in the chute? Give me a number. I still haven't seen it. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Give me a number. Tell it to me now. What number's in the chute? What? I still haven't seen it. I'm still looking. I still haven't seen it. Give me a number between 1 and 50 that's in my chute. Shoot in the chute. Right now, as we speak. Nerdy's right. It's not 10. It's not. You guys. How old do you have to be to drink in the United States? -1. How old do you have to be to drink? -1. Okay. John Zook, first guy to get it. John Zook, yay! John Zook. John Zook, you got it. You win. Pack of supplemental supplements. Going to John Zook. Boom. I have another number in the chute. Let's do it again. What's the second number in the chute? Go. What's the second number in the chute? Go. About 50 of you have already said the number once. So say one of those numbers you said before, and you're going to win. What number is in the chute? And it's very current. Billy D. Billy D, 13. You're absolutely right. So there was a 20. There was a 20, and then there's a 13. Billy D. Send me your addresses, John Zook and Billy D. And we're going to send out to you a pack of supplemental supplements. Very appropriate number for you today, Billy D. Since today is Friday the 13th. Triskaidekaphobia. If you have it, then today's one of those days that are going to make you a little bit nervous. Let's do just a little bit of reading before we go. John Zook and Billy D, two big winners for today. I'll be sending you each 7 grams of supplemental supplements. Okay? But I need your addresses. It's when you send me your address and it goes to my email. That's when I know, I remember, oh, I have to send that person something. So your address coming to me, even if I've received it before, is the start of me being able to process an order. Okay? So if I don't see an address, sometimes I move on and I forget. So it isn't that and usually I haven't saved your address either. Okay? I try not to save addresses and keep a very small signature of data information here. Okay? Love. Remember this morning, the very first message, when I said there's so many different definitions of love? Carlita told him, scammer. If you're talking about me, I'm not going to take that personal. If you are talking about me, it's a reflection on you. The people that have been here and know me, they know. Love. Everywhere we learn that love is important, and yet we are bombarded by its failure. Love fails. That's something for us to consider. Does love fail? Well, it depends, right? We've got to go all the way through the definition. You're right, Mushmouth. Those are all scams back there. Those are all, yeah. In the realm of the political, among the religious, in our families, and in our romantic lives, we see little indication that love informs decisions, strengthens our understanding of community, or keeps us together. Thank you, Nith. This bleak picture in no way alters the nature of our longing. We still hope that love will prevail. We still believe in love's promise. There's a lot of indication it doesn't always work, though. The old love isn't enough situation. Because maybe we rely on it in ways that we're not supposed to. Distinguished emotions researcher Barbara Fredrickson describes the umbrella term love. I love that, just the term alone. Love is an umbrella term. Love is an umbrella term. It includes the preoccupying, listen to this, the preoccupying and strong desire for further connection. The powerful bonds people hold with a select few and the intimacy that grows between them. The commitments to loyalty and faithfulness. In Fredrickson's view, love permeates everyday interactions with others, ranging from strangers and acquaintances to friends and spouses, forming emotional context from which to strengthen relationships. Love is a binder. Love binds, strengthens. That's one of its powerful forces. Interesting, there is a debate among researchers about whether love is an emotion. Interesting. However, among everyone else, love is thought of as an emotion. In a study conducted by Shaver and colleagues, undergraduates were asked to rate 213 emotion words in terms of whether they would call the word an emotion. 1 equals, I definitely would not call this an emotion, to 4, I would definitely call this an emotion. So on a scale of 1 to 4, the word love received the highest average rating from these 213 participants. It received an average of 3.94 rating. That's a lot of 4s people were giving it, and probably a rando 3. What word do you think came in second in the rating? They gave you a bunch of words and they said, rate this as an emotion. What was the second word? What do you think? Bill D's correct. Hate. Hate. They are so closely aligned in our brain and in the context that we've been taught them. Hate came in at a 3.90. Love 3.94. Hate 3.90. As someone who is committed to research that reflects our lived experiences, I find that Shaver's study and Fredrickson's description both align with what my team heard. Love is an emotion that we're capable of feeling in many different contexts, from intimate partner relationships and families to friends and even pets. Do you know I tell Ruffy I love him more than I tell Brock. Not that I don't love Brock more, but does anybody tell their pets they love them? Anybody think their pets love them? That's your emotional bond to your little guy. That's your emotional bond to your little guy. And why is it easier to say it to a pet? Why is it easier to tell them? Nippy, I say it constantly to him, and then I'll drop one on Brock maybe once a week. Maybe. But Ruff gets a bath of them. Isn't that interesting? No, I'm just cogitating on that with you guys right now. We cultivate love. Wait for this. I'm glad to hear that, honey bear. We cultivate love when we allow our most vulnerable and powerful selves. When I use the word vulnerable and powerful self, I'm talking about your authenticity. You being incredibly authentic. Your authentic self is both vulnerable and powerful. It's both. When you're authentic, it's okay to be vulnerable. When I'm not being authentic, I've got a mask on. You can't hurt me. I'm impervious. That's a mask. I can be hurt, especially when I start taking things personal. See this guy that called me a scammer? Some people would get hurt by that. But as long as I'm being authentic, I understand I am vulnerable, but I'm also incredibly powerful. I'm so powerful that I don't even have to listen to it. When I forget that power that I have and I'm not touched into my authenticity, my inner being, when I'm not attached to that, I'm really, really prone to experience the negative vulnerability. We cultivate love. Just that word alone. Cultivate. We cultivate shrooms. It takes a lot of work. We do a lot to create a shroom. All the way from the day we've driven down to the grain store and bought our grain. Tractor Supply. I'm already starting to cultivate at Tractor Supply, grabbing 25-pound bags of whole oats. I'm on the job cultivating. Do we work as hard at cultivating love? Sometimes not. Sometimes I work harder at cultivating mushrooms than I do love. We cultivate love. Love isn't something that just is going to pop, here it is. It takes an internal power to cultivate. It takes a desire to see something grow to cultivate. We're basically love farmers. And we have a reason that we want to farm love. Because internally, we need to belong. We need to belong. And that's hard thing sometimes to admit to ourselves and to others. Because it makes you feel weak. Especially if you've been grown up in these crazy, stupid ideas of masculinity. Toxic masculinity stuff. That was so easy to buy into because I wasn't being authentic. My authentic self has both a little boy that still wants his mom to hug him and a big boy that wants to go out and hug as many people as I possibly can. We cultivate love when we allow our most vulnerable and powerful selves to be deeply seen and known. I would argue you see that here at T. We allow people to see ourselves here deeply. When you're telling these silly jokes and you're showing your intellect and your humor and your willingness to just laugh and be laughed at, you're cultivating love. You're being vulnerable. And you're being vulnerable because you're in a group that you can be vulnerable in. I would argue that it's not the only place that we can be vulnerable. I have started being vulnerable no matter where I go. No matter who I'm interacting with. Recently, it was a clerk at the store. Cranky. Oh, she didn't like her job. It didn't look like. The couple in front of me at the grocery store, she's just pounding sacks through the thing and give me your money. And I'm watching and I go, nobody's cultivating anything there. They're both pissed off. The buyer's pissed off. She's pissed off. They're just, what a strange energy between them. I step up there with my bags of tomatoes and potatoes and whatever else we were buying. And I immediately was Cultivating. I'm immediately sending an energy to tell her, I really appreciate what you're doing behind the counter. I don't know how many people have told you today, but boy, your feet must hurt. Standing there all day doing that. Thank you. I don't think that lady had been thanked for just doing her job in I don't know how long. Random stranger. She deserved that interaction, and I grew from it. By the time I'm walking out, she's chasing me. Sir, you forgot your receipt. Isn't that the same kind of receipt that you wadded up and threw at the last person? Think about that. How do you want to get your receipt next time you go to the store? And this is just basic human interaction. I'm trying to cultivate it with my new mailman. I want to love my new mailman. Kind of selfishly, I don't want him to look in the boxes. I want him to put them on the top of the rack and scan them first. And guess what's happening? They're doing it. I told you guys last week or a couple of days ago about my mailman. I opened the door and I said, thank you. You know what happened a couple of days ago? I had a box sitting out at my front filled with boxes to go out. And the mailman didn't make it to my house. And I'm like, I watched and I'm like, he didn't come to the last house, the corner house. And he just, he finished his route on the street and he's heading back to his truck. And I'm like, darn it. I'm going to have to chase him down with this box of, chase him down the street. Or I'm going to have to just say, forget about it and go to the post office and drop him off. Well, I'm going to chase him down. So I got to his truck just about as he was closing the sliding door and going to drive away. I'm like, excuse me, sir. And I'm standing there with my box of stuff. And he looked at me and he was like, oh my gosh. He goes, I forgot you. He goes, I completely forgot. Because he knew who I was from a couple of days before when I had said hello and thank you. And I'm standing at his truck with the bag. And he goes, I can't believe what terrible customer service I gave you. I have never heard a postman apologize for customer service before in my life. We were both being incredibly authentic. Do you guys picking up what I'm laying down here? This is cultivating a relationship. I have never heard a postman, apologize for a lack of customer service. He was beside himself. I can't believe I did that. And I'd already known his name, Leon. I'm like, Leon, no, don't stress. It's okay. Hey, that happens. He goes, well, I'll tell you what. He goes, your house has been vacant. That house on the corner had been vacant for a few months while they were doing a rehab and everything on it. So it just didn't cross my mind to check the porch. I didn't have something to put in there, so it didn't cross my mind. He goes, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is all coming from him, unsolicited. He goes, when I get back to the post office today, I'm going to put a note in. He goes, I'm the regular postman for this route, but we have substitutes. I'm going to put a note in to make sure that they always check your front porch. You know what the ripple effect is? You know what the ripple effect is? They're going to care enough to get my stuff scanned, your stuff delivered, rippled right to you. And I didn't go there with that as an agenda. I was just like, that's authenticity between two people. Oh, I don't want to do that, Stuart. Even though I sort of do somewhat, you don't want to really, those are a couple of things you don't want to give those guys. I would love to give them a doobie and a pack of supple. You don't do that to the postman, because then you're opening up, hey, by the way, this is what's in all those packages. So as much as you want to be that kind, you don't want to be that kind. We cultivate love when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and powerful selves, and our powerful selves to be deeply seen and known. And when we honor the spiritual connection that grows from that offering with trust, respect, kindness, and affection. I'm telling you, all four of those I used with the grocer, the lady at the grocery store, and I used with the mailman. I used all. Trust. I trust that they were not lying to me. He didn't just get me on purpose. I respected him. He's working hard. I respected her. Her feet hurt. Kindness. How you interact with them. Kindness. People experience kindness when you send it to them. I'll tell you the sad part, one of the saddest reasons, because they don't get it that often. There aren't enough people willing to be vulnerable. And affection. I like my mailman. I like Leon. I feel affectionate towards him. He dropped by yesterday, picked up the thing, boom, gone. We didn't have to say a word to each other. But he deliberately is checking my front porch now. Love is not something we give or get. It is something that we nurture and that we grow, cultivate. It is something we nurture and that we grow. It's a connection that can be cultivated between two people only if it exists within one of them. If you're both coming to the table and neither have love for the other, you're not going to cultivate love between the two of you. If one person brings to the situation, the relationship, the connection, one person brings love, you are the seed. You're the seed. It only takes one. And you can see your power. You can use it. You can use your power. You can watch the cultivation. In 1 week, Leon and I have become friends. I'm going to leave him a little snack, a little apple pie, next time he has to pick something up. Wouldn't be bad if mailman, middle of the day, gets a little snack-a-dack in his packages. I'm going to continue to cultivate my relationship with Leon. I hope I see the same lady at the grocery store. We'll remember each other. And these are just basic human interactions, you guys. These are incredibly basic human interactions. I'm allowed to go a little long today because we started late. And I'm only 63 minutes in. Some Doritos and cold water, right, nerdy? Just be, you don't overdo it. Don't go out of control or anything, but just be kind. It goes a long way. And if you're the one person bringing kindness, I don't know if Leon would have liked me if I'd have gone, you son of a bitch, you forgot my packages and I had to walk all the way down here and give them to you. And don't you know that you're a postman and you should be checking? Really? I think I've been that guy before, though. I think I've been that guy. Michael, I'm glad you know his name. I think I've been that guy before. Has anybody ever? Has anybody ever been that guy? Pissed. You forgot my box again. You could cultivate that kind of a relationship too if you want to. Right, Bill? We have the power to have that relationship too, Streety. We can love each other only as much as we love ourselves. Can I say that again? We can love others only as much as we love ourselves. That's authentic. If you're starting to really like who you are, loving yourself more than ever before, go share it. Spread it. Connect with it. Shame, blame, disrespect. I could have used all three of those on my mailman. Shame on you. You don't know what kind of a, you don't know, you're doing a terrible job. I pay taxes. Blame. We can do all of those. Shame, blame, disrespect, betrayal, and the withholding of affection damage the roots from which love grows. That's the mushroom poison. That's poison. You have some relationships out there that you're involved in that. You're still shaming someone. You're still blaming someone. You're still holding something against them. You are. Look at yourself. Look in the mirror. Stop. Stop blaming that person. Stop disrespecting them. Let it go. Be the one that can bring love to that relationship. Nobody says they have to love you back because that's taking it personal. You just do what's in your authentic soul. The withholding of affection. That's a parenting tool from the 70s. My parents did that one really well. They would just withhold affection when you're bad. You're bad. So the best way to teach a kid not to be bad is to withhold your affection. Excuse me? Oh yeah, that's a great parenting tool. I wonder when a kid's bad if you told him, you know what, you're not bad. You did something bad, but I love you. Your soul's a good one. I don't like what you did. And there might be a consequence to that. But I'm not going to stop loving you because you made a mistake or you did something bad. That's parenting. Same thing in relationships with your spouses. You're still holding things against them. Things they did years ago. Remember when you... Well, no wonder it's easier to tell my dog I love him than my wife. Love can survive injuries only if those injuries are acknowledged and healed. I love just using the basic mailman. And that's just one of my relationships. I want all of my relationships to be cultivating love and goodness and kindness. And it is a name of mine. I'm consistently conscious of it. I am. I'm consistently conscious of what am I bringing? My authentic self? Or this mask, this version that I think is going to score high on your scoreboard. That's the old Pops. The old Pops are still looking for scoreboards. I don't give a darn what the score is today. What I care about today is, what I care about is, I know that the more I cultivate, the more I will grow. Give me 5 people that agree to that. Give me 5 people that say the more I cultivate, the more I will grow. That's basic nature. That's farming 101. The more you cultivate, the more you're going to grow. That's farming 101, baby. The more I cultivate at my grow house, the more pounds I pull out. The more I cultivate love in the relationships that I have on this planet, the more pounds of kindness are going to grow. Bike life, soil science, right? Go have a good day. Go have a good weekend. I love you guys. I mean that. And I try to send it. This morning, a little frustrated. Didn't even experience a minute of it out loud when the YouTube's just not connecting fast enough. And it was because I'm worried I'm not going to be able to cultivate this morning. Oh no. My cultivating, I want my cultivator on today. And our cultivator turned on. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Rodman. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. We'll see you. Oh, happy Father's Day to all you fathers. Be men. And I don't mean masculine-ish, icky, toxic man. Be men. Be authentic. Tell the kids how much you love them, how much you respect them, how much you care about them. Be authentic. And if you don't have children, find somebody to connect with on Father's Day and tell them Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of y'all. Daddos. Cultivate. A real father is the cultivator. Mom already gave us the seed. Mom already birthed it for us. Thank you, Mom. Now, Dad, show them how to farm. Hello from Italy. Dad, show them how to be a good farmer, a good cultivator. Pops out. 4 things. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personal. It's usually a reflection of them. Don't have expectations. I have none of Leon. But I know we're going to grow closer and more friendly. I just know it. Because that's what happens when I cultivate. And do your best. Do your best. Have a best Father's Day this week, too. Pops out. Let me scroll you guys out of here. Jesus Christ in Australia. Watch that Aaron Patterson stuff, Jesus. I'm watching it. Niffy, good morning, sweetheart. The Master Beef, hello. Nerdy, happy Father's Day. Thank you. Herbie, happy Father's Day to you. Jesus Christ in Australia. Mike Barabal, thank you. Billy D and Corey D, thank you, Cor. Laura in Italy, we're so glad you joined us this morning. Mike Barabal, thank you, Nippy. You have an amazing day and do something cultivatingly wonderful with Cleany. Mike Barabal and Rodman and Herbs and Jesus Christ and Nippy. And Mike Barabal and Jolie Cantor. Good morning, Jolie. Sue Littlemeyer and Nikki. Good morning. Streety. Happy Father's Day. Nerdy John Zook and Cat Meowzilla. Laura, you're divine. Bill D. Herbs. Appreciating everybody. Jolie and Carnivorous. Karma Doc. There you go. B. Henderson, Pidgey Page. It's the best way to stay sane, right? Mr. 420 and Herbie and Nippy and Paige and Wazzy. Wazzy, happy Father's Day, my good friend. Notorious, peace, pops. Happy Father's Day. I'm out. You're in. Go cultivate.